call the meeting to order. Shall we stand for the pledge? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who are you looking for?
I think I know now. Okay.
Whenever you're ready. Yeah.
Bailey, present. Briley. Mr. Dupuy.
Present.
Mr. Montgomery.
Present.
Mr. Levady. Mr. Mahaffey. I already say Mr. Montgomery.
Good.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Swartz.
Present.
And Mr. Richards.
Sure.
Okay.
Any correspondence?
Yeah. Got a, I got a letter from, Worth Township that they're updating the master plan. You know, like any input that we have. And that's the only correspondence that I have.
Okay. I have here, this in regards to new health marketplace stuff for Obamacare. I've been instructed to provide this to each planning commission member in regards to Obamacare and the health market and all that good stuff. If you want a copy, you're welcome to it.
It's a copy of what?
It's on the insurance.
It's a new health insurance marketplace coverage option in your health coverage. Regards to the affordable health care and
Move stuff, yeah.
yeah, since we are by default employees of the township, we have to be, every employee has to be provided a copy of this telling you how to take care of yourself. So if you think you need it, you're welcome to it.
Well, thank you.
Want to look at one? Anybody else?
Yeah, you're in there.
I didn't know about,
Did Frank write this up?
no, the government did.
I'm sure the government come up with a way to save us from ourselves. Okay, meeting minutes. Have any motion on approval of the meeting minutes?
September 3rd.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right.
I'll second the motion.
All right.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carried. At this time, I'm going to close the regular meeting and open the meeting up as a public hearing for a special land use for Mr. Sutherland here. Mr. Sutherland, would you please, did you get their names, addresses, all that good stuff already?
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome to get up and give a presentation to us, plus the audience, as to what you're doing, what your plans are, timetable, stuff like that.
Well, just one started building to start, and then up, if it goes,
with eventually 6 of them.
Okay.
If you want to see a copy of this, or?
Well, I've got that small copy that was, I assume it came from that,
Here's
isn't
the
it?
next one.
It did.
Anybody else like to see this?
It should be in the packets, it's just, it doesn't show the
Okay.
graph line and stuff, it's.
Okay.
It has
The audience, being this is a public hearing, you're welcome to take a look at this too if you wish. This would be 25 out here, Harris Road would be over here, this would be north. Okay. Okay. Mr. Zoning Administrator, you have given us a memorandum of recommendation. Could you verbalize that, please?
Well, upon looking at the plan, first off, I got cart a little ahead of the horse because I gave you a site plan review of what the site plan would be needed at the site plan to correct it. I think more appropriately that we should be looking at whether or not you're going to grant him the special use before we worry about the site plan.
Right. Okay. Has he applied for a site plan?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, so the application is strictly done by.
Site is special land use.
Okay, without the site plan.
Okay. At this time, we'd be willing to take any comment from any citizens in regard to this project that Mr. Sutherland is proposing. Please stand up. Go ahead. Please give your...
Sure. My name is Mike Bechtel. I'm 8616 Lakeshore. My question...
Hold on, he's got to catch up here.
Sure.
And
Bechtel,
address, but not your address.
B-E-C-H-T-E-L-L.
Pardon?
Bechtel, B-E-C-H-T-E-L-L.
Okay. 8616 Lakeshore?
Correct.
Okay.
My reason is showing is, I was curious what all was going to develop of this, whether the manufactured homes are going to be gone or it'll be strictly storage. I'm a self-employed businessman. I respect people for that. It's a hard way to go. But then again, you know, we're selling cars, trailers, steps, sheds, and I'm just curious where the line's going to be drawn, if it's going to be a storage unit facility or it's going to remain how it's been. That's my question. Thank you.
If you look at the diagram, as what he's showing us, is an entire parcel
Storage unit.
will be for storage units, okay?
Thank you.
So any of those other uses would have to go away. Is that understood?
And you said you were planning on doing this in phases?
Yeah, we'll build one and see if it goes, and once it gets full or near full, then build a second one. And we want to present the whole thing so there's no confusion later on.
But in the meantime, you would get rid of everything else?
Yeah,
once
as soon as
the-
we sell these houses, we're out of the house business. I got 5 left and 2 of them's already sold.
Okay.
And which building were you planning on doing first?
Number 1 out by the road, just to the south of the drive.
And what type of building is that? It says it's just a storage unit. How many units are in there?
It depends on what configuration we end up. They've got all kinds of different units, different sizes. The building will be what's on the drawing, but how many units is gonna be inside depends on which one we choose to build.
And what are these units constructed out of?
Metal.
Okay, but we're just, though, considering the use right now. Right?
Yes,
We're not doing a site plan review.
Okay,
Hi, I'm Linda Luch, and my
Linda.
Luch, Leuch, 3790 Harris. And my property is to the east and north of this parcel. And my concern is that I have horses abutting this. And right now, the fence, with the use that it was, quite often stuff would end up in my field, you know, cinder block stuff. Nothing that I've even had to bring an issue to them for, because I just throw it back over or fix the fence or whatever. But when it's gonna be public and just people can be there to get their thing, I would propose them putting up a decent fence so that people can't get to the horses. And the stuff doesn't blow in my field and stuff like that. That would be my concern.
Your parcel there is like a 5-acre parcel, is it?
10
10 acre parcel, yeah.
you immediately adjoin him to the east?
east and north.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're down about 4 houses, but then your property comes all the way around.
I'm down all the way at the other end. I'm down, yeah, I'm down all the way at the other end. Yeah, all those little houses were sectioned off of my farm at one point.
Was the, not yours, but Mr. Sutherland's, was your property split?
It was part of my farm.
Okay, because it had, the county for some reason had it as Harris Road, your address.
Because it was part of my farm
Okay.
at one point.
I noticed that too going through the.
Yeah.
It's because my dad owned all the property, and he sold off that frontage to, I don't know if it was to you, Mr. Sutherland, I think it was to the people before you, the Merrimackson people, right? Yeah. Right, right. So that's why there would be the confusion.
Is that part of our discussion, the buffering wall? Does that enter into our discussion here tonight or not, Paul?
I have no idea, I just thought I'd bring it up.
Well, it's a valid concern, it's just a question of whether that's upon the site plan review or if it's part of our variance review here, Paul, to even bring that up, question what it would be, because according to our ordinance, it requires an obscuring masonry wall or alternative screening of some sort.
Is there any other citizens with comments to be made, questions to ask, things like that? Yes, sir.
I'd like to see something,
Mr. Abernathy?
yes, I'm sorry, Robert Abernathy, 8235 State Road. I have no objections at all for a special land use permit, especially for that use. I think it would be a benefit to the township. If you're looking at what's there now versus something like this coming up, I think, again, it'd be a benefit to the township. I don't know that we have a storage facility within Burtchville or not. I know Mr. Sutherland's tried various things on that property with not much success. And I'd like to see that opportunity at least afforded to him.
Thank you. Okay.
I guess I didn't say anything, but I have no objection to that either. I just don't want people messing with my horses.
Excuse me, neither do I, by all means, I hope he succeeds
Yeah.
with it. I would just like to see it turned into one thing instead of a virtual handful of things.
Right.
That's all.
Okay. Okay, At this point, we will close the public hearing, and we're going to reopen the regular meeting, and the planning commission will discuss this and look at ways to go on this. Mike, would you happen to have that bigger zoning map of the township?
No, I think they put it in the vault.
Wonderful, that's
Yeah.
You got this one over here, you guys.
where,
I've got that file cabinet, I brought them all.
oh, okay. So, that parcel,
Well, I don't think that ever had a clear picture. of
well,
it.
I thought he came all the way out to Paris, he doesn't come
You're the one that got it.
And that way access can only come off of Lake Shore. It's only the access which is required to be off a major thoroughfare.
Okay, I see what she means when she's on the north. There is an access. Okay.
Okay?
That won't work.
Is his 300 foot within that commercial area?
Yes. It's right on the edge of there, the line.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Anyone else want to look at that zoning map to see the exact parcel map? It's much better than what we have in these books.
This is the parcel question. Who owns that parcel? On the corner, I don't know. They were notified. But yeah, this is, and it's all within the GB commercial district.
That's this one.
Even, I guess he didn't need to this.
Really, yeah, this lady owns. It does go all the way. She can be here all the way around.
Burtchville guys are gonna get them home. Just as nice as Burtchville guys. Like for a while.
So my real
Well, yeah, I like it.
west, yeah, my house is, used to be the commercial. I just.
I want to give it.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay, I'm going straight.
Ladies and gentlemen, start to sit down, keep it down.
Sorry, folks, we're gonna run. Thank you. I gotta roll home. We need to ride.
Okay, does anyone have any thoughts and ideas on what to do with this?
Well, I think like Mr. Riley said, that it is permittable
Okay,
under section 14.03, item number 23. You can have a special land use for mini storage units, I believe that they were called. When it comes to the, well, we're not really discussing the site plan, but the 1744, wasn't it?
yes, 1744.
I don't know if he realizes that this, by ordinance, it is required that special land use need to be blacktop to concrete.
Run that one past us again.
Under ordinance, this mini warehouse, the drives in the parking in that will have to be blacktopped or concrete.
Really?
Under section 17.44, number 5.
How far back, just as far as the one building or the whole thing?
In other words, can you do it in phases with the building?
Yeah, he can do it in phases as you put up a building blacktop at the same time.
To the front of the building and to the applicable back side if it's got openings, but, yeah, okay.
You have the drive and everything going in.
Yeah.
I don't know if MDOT, we're saying if MDOT needs to be contacted to see on the entrance.
You're basically proposing a redevelopment of the entire parcel, even though it will be in stages, and they will have to give their blessings one way or the other. Hopefully they won't have rigorous requirements. The other things we'd be looking at is like for the office area. Now, your map showed the office being at the rear of it. You just have to designate on there where the office parking would be for that. I don't think we really need to worry about so much where the storage units are. We need something that shows drainage, and I would think that the office would probably have restroom facilities, stuff like that there. Where does that septic field and stuff like that come into play?
Is it possible to, you know what, is it possible to, because with the way that storage units are going now, they're unmanned. Do we have to have an office was the question, one of the questions. Because storage units anymore are unmanned. But if we don't have an office, then do we have to have go with the septic field or not? Because that was one of the things that came up, and I was like, geez, if you go unmanned.
I have not thought about that question. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
By ordinance, I don't believe it's required to have an office on site.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if
you know what it
eliminate-
is.
If you had a building there without a restroom in it.
Right, that would be a
then
problem.
we'd worry about a septic or.
Yeah.
But I assume it would be fenced in all the way around.
Yeah.
And have some type of electric gate with a
Yep.
code entrance and things like that.
According to the ordinance, a on-site personnel is not required.
Right.
It says that the owner-operator shall properly police, but that's it. And it says a residence for a caretaker may be constructed on the premises. May, that's permissive, it's not required.
Right.
So, yeah, apparently there is no requirement for a manned facility.
Okay. What is your thoughts on perimeter fencing as applicant? Perimeter fencing, access control, things like that?
We figured at least a fence in the front with electric gate,
Okay,
but we haven't planned any farther than that.
okay. So you would have some access control on it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we just plan on being open from daylight to dark.
Right, daylight hours only. You don't want
You're
people,
not 24/7.
you don't want people into a storage unit 24/7. All you get is a really well documented break-in, you know, and that's it. You got it on camera, and that's the end of it. Daylight hours only. You can't expect the people around it to put up with that kind of stuff.
Are you gonna have lighting,
Motion lights,
motion light?
somebody tries to monkey around at night, they'll come on, preferably hooked to an alarm to the sheriff's department.
So your access control will be 24/7, or just, it'll shut down, say, dark
Daylight
at night?
hours.
Daylight to dark.
Yeah, and then you would also have access, I'm saying it right. Most storage units today, so if somebody's in there, in order for them to get out, they have to
Put in a code.
put a code or something like that in.
Yeah.
Object being is somebody can get in there, bust into things, and then they have free rein getting out.
It's kind of turnstile. When you key in, a lot of times it's like a turnstile, so it knows you're in there. You have to key back out or you have to register back out.
Right.
So,
But one of the problems they have is, okay, that somebody follows one guy and he
Yeah.
stays right on his tail and follows
That's a-
him in without,
yeah.
okay, then he does what he wants, you know.
Yeah, you can if yourself to death on things. You know, you can only prepare for the worst and hope for the best, but yes.
Yeah,
Effectively, yeah, you're right. There'll be, I mean, if you're in there, you'll be able to get out. There's no
Okay.
question about it.
probably one of the requirements is we probably need something so that, some type of access manner so that the fire department or
Yeah.
someone has to get there 24/7, they can get in.
That goes without saying, yeah.
Okay.
If you're doing this in, they, well, your biggest thing is to, you want to know if you can put it in.
Right, all the way, like, that whole plan, you know, it wouldn't be profitable to just put phase 1, phase 2, and have to stop. Basically, you want the whole thing approved. We want to know what it's going to take to get the whole thing in and make everybody happy and keep building them as they're needed. You know, that's the goal. And hopefully they're going to go very quickly.
Well, I think what we'll probably try to do tonight is look at it as to whether the use is allowed,
Right.
and we're kind of give you some guidelines as to what we expect as far as a site plan review. Okay, you come with a site plan for the whole project, and then come to us at the same time with, this is our phasing and stuff like that, and what I'm gonna do at this point, what I'm gonna do at that point.
Perspective guidelines and
Right.
timelines. Yeah.
Okay. So you get a kind of a tentative approval tonight that says, yeah, your
Exactly.
idea is,
So we can spend money on getting it developed. Right. And at that time, we'll know, you know, okay, it's gonna cost X, Y, Z
right,
for what you want, and here's where it will be, and we don't have to come back and say, oh, it's a wish and a prayer, this is what's gonna happen, here's how it's gonna be managed, and
Well,
here's the oversight.
and as long as you follow the guidelines that we agree on,
Mm-hmm.
and Mike doesn't see any problems with that, hopefully you won't be back here seeing us again.
Well, the thing is it'll look better, you know, I mean, I think what'll happen is right off the bat, everybody who's involved in it will be happier because, you know, you'll have, the problem with it right now is all the stuff that kind of comes with the house has to be there and then kind of gotta go, and you know how it is, the corners round in,
Yeah.
so.
Right. Nothing, yes, okay. Okay, I thought maybe you wanted to say something, Mike, okay. Okay, then the other issue is, okay, you know, you'd be putting a lot of buildings there, where I wanna know, where's your water gonna go?
Yeah, you gotta have a good site plan from the word
Right.
go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And, you know, Mike would be glad to assist you as the areas where you need to look at, things like that. You're not gonna design it for you, but.
No, don't expect them to.
Okay. And of course, whenever you have storage units, people like to leave lots of trash laying around, so.
We gotta have-
refuse things and,
It's like you said, it has to be policed.
right,
You know, that's saying it right there, it's gotta be neat and clean.
okay. And then, I'm sure that there'll be some other things. Anybody else got comments?
Well, once, if you granted the special land use for the mini warehouses, I mean, that's the only thing that can be there.
Right,
Correct.
Okay, nothing else.
it's exactly
You know, so-
part of the understanding right there.
Yeah. And you also gotta work on your tenants not running businesses out there too.
Yeah, well, and they have
Our garage sales?
Well, garage sales, doing mechanical work, you know, whatever, you know.
yeah, it's the stuff that goes with it, isn't it? Yeah.
You realize about the buffering and everything that has to go on to the residential sites?
Yeah, we're gonna get with Mike on that, and make sure, you know, figure out what's gotta go and what's actually gonna be there.
What's your timetable anyway? Like, I mean, how soon did you want to?
Well, we'd like to get started this fall on building one, but it all depends on how long it takes to get everything lined up.
Well, unfortunately, when you come back here, you're gonna have to spend a few bucks with some type of surveyor or architect or something like that to have a drawing. that really
Right,
means
this is a rough preliminary, I
Right.
understand.
something. Okay, we
Yeah,
understand.
and you're gonna need to know, you know, like you said, your drainage, where you're gonna run your hot waters.
Right.
What are your buildings gonna look like?
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't take a pig in a poke.
Right.
We don't really accept, it, the idea here, like you said today, is would this work into your guys' plan? You know, and would it be feasible to get permits on it is really what we're here asking right now.
Right. You know, I personally think it would probably be a good use for the property, okay? But, you know, we got all these guidelines we gotta follow too.
Yep.
And at this point, we really don't have another storage unit that's operational in the township. Okay.
Yeah. And we understand by you guys saying yes, you're not necessarily giving us a permit. You're saying you're open to the idea, now bring it back a decent site plan, and you can get permits. I understand.
I will run them copies of the design requirements
Yeah.
for this use.
Okay.
So they'll have that.
Anyone else have any questions, comments about that?
Just wait for the site plan.
Okay. Can I have a motion in regards to this special land use from someone here, and maybe get a second one way or the other?
I can make the motion if you want.
Okay, go for it.
Motion to approve the special land use for parcel 74-11-0084015-300, known as 8032 Kimball Drive, for Perry and John Sutherland, as it meets is allowed under section 17.44, mini warehouses. I guess that would cover it anyway for the special land use. And that, yeah, thanks. And then submit an acceptable site plan to the planning commission within 30 days from approval of your special land use, and for it to be approved by the planning commission. And the following sections of the, well, we put all that in there, but
Yeah.
Do we need to put the 30 days on there? That's probably not
Yeah.
reasonable.
Well, question on that one, if it takes us more than 30 days to get either the architectural drawings on that, or either we're gonna have to have a civil engineer or landscape architect do that, can we ask for an extension on the 30 days?
we can make it 60
I would-
or 90 or
I would-
no days on it.
I would say 60 work better.
Yeah, you might as well, because you know what?
Right.
Yeah, I think 30 is optimistic.
That's fine.
Having to deal with
I wasn't really thinking that much about it.
Yeah.
And they gotta have it to us 15 days before the next meeting,
Right.
so that doesn't give them any time.
And we'll make 60 days from the date of the approval of it. I didn't get a second, did I?
Were you done making your motion? I didn't know you were quite finished.
I didn't know if you were done talking yet.
I will second the motion.
Okay.
Okay. And when is your next meeting?
November 5th.
November 5th, and that's just the regular meeting, or is that another special?
No, that's a regular meeting.
It's a regular meeting, we can do site plan reviews at it, but everything has to be to us 15 days prior to that meeting.
Okay.
Okay, or basically, you might as well say 3 weeks, which really don't leave you time to
I really
start today and have it ready.
Yeah, I doubt that it's gonna be there for that, so.
December 3rd is the next one.
December 3rd, okay, that's the best
Okay.
part. Okay, great. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have to have it 15 days before December 3rd.
Yeah, so we have different township people, this board, Mike, the fire department may want to look at it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you wanna make sure your apparatus can get through it.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Also, with that special land use, I mean, no permits are to be issued or construction of any type is to be started at the proposed site until the site plan has been received and approved.
Okay. That's fine, I think that's adequate. Do I have a second?
Mr. Dupuy.
I already seconded it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Any discussion? Let's take a roll call, vote, please.
Okay, roll call. I'm going to start with Mr. Montgomery.
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz.
Aye.
Mr. Dupuy.
Yes.
Mr. Richards.
Yes.
And Mr. Bailey, yes.
Okay. Well, you have our blessings to proceed.
Thank you. Good.
When you get things figured out with Mike,
Yeah.
come back to see us and we'll comment on it. If you have any questions, meantime, feel free to ask myself or Bob,
Okay.
but I'm sure Mike will answer 99% of everything.
Thank you. It's hard to get that 1%.
It's hard to get that 1%. That's the 45 minutes on the 5-minute question, right?
You got one for you.
No, you don't have to go too much. Not worried about
Okay,
I mean,
I'm Craig Martin. And then, you know what, and I'm just a fishing player, but I know what he needs and wants, and it was kind of one of those, I got working here, we're going fishing like right after this.
What's your address?
And it would have taken longer if you'd have explained it.
yeah, there's a lot of issues.
2300 Laurie Road, Applegate,
Public.
48401. Laurie, L-O-R-E-E, yeah,
That's
that's way up.
That was all,
Oh,
you know,
really?
so that was my.
It's Sandlot,
concern.
spelling was
You have
optional.
that in your plan? I was just up there.
make sure in the meeting minutes you put some reference to
Yeah.
recycle.
And I'm not-
fishing trip.
I'm not.
What's that?
Have a good fishing trip.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, okay, you can never say good fence, I'll shut up.
Try to keep all those people out of there. Keep one going at the horses, especially kids.
You know,
If you do that,
I know,
how are you gonna
because
fence
you
the
can't really
thing?
stop all.
Control it.
That's,
It would probably have to be fenced in stages. I mean, he could do the 3 sides and then do one side, then move it as he moves his buildings. You're talking a high dollar
Are you talking a lot of money?
expense to do this, and, you know, I'm not sure that they're realistic in what they're, you know, thinking their expenses are gonna be, but I gotta tell you, you know, they could be prepared to spend,
You spend $500,000 on all
oh,
this.
I would say more than that, yeah.
it's a big dump.
And it's a big down to just get it operational. I know they want to do one at a time, but, you know, most of the
Oh,
costs
I
are
know
going to
you
be
do,
up front.
I know you do, that's why I'm.
I
Oh, the site development, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I know you do, so.
Well, I wish them luck. I think it's a great
I
idea.
know,
I mean,
and,
you know,
yeah.
Be a good use for that
And
piece of
that's
property.
fine.
it would be.
Once
I
in a
mean-
while,
Yeah.
So they're granted the special land use, so I'll get them out the letter now.
Yeah.
Now that they got a special land use,
And I had.
that's what it's for now.
yeah.
Well, now he can afford, or can justify going out and spending whatever it costs to have
Yeah.
the site.
I mean, that paving, you know, is expensive. I know there's a little bit of gravel base there.
But that was,
Yeah.
that's more my concern.
Because everybody gets
Because I know.
silent
I can tell you what, they made a ton of money.
Oh, they charge a lot of money. I mean, they're $70, $80 a month for, you know, the little ones, so.
They're high profit.
Well,
But
and
you're
they're
right,
not making-
the right up front money is,
The front money is gonna be substantial, and, you know, I don't know if they're prepared to, like you say, shell out, you know, several $100,000 just to get the first one operational. And I don't know what those buildings cost, I know they're metal buildings, but, you know, you still need the frost footings and all of that stuff to build them on, and, you know, there's gonna need to be a drainage system of some sort. I mean, it's all pavement, the water's gotta go somewhere, not into the units. And, you know, I don't know if they're quite prepared to spend all that money on the engineering. I mean, those engineers don't work for cheap.
out in Boca, they just poured a new approach at the fire department, just to follow the fire department, 80 yards of concrete.
Where's that?
In Boca, from the fire department.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got the fire vehicle, I go to church with there, so they got the fire vehicles at the county storage.
Oh, right.
80 yards, over $100 a yard for concrete.
Well, they would have to blacktop. I mean, concrete would be
Yeah.
unaffordable to do a project such as that, but,
Well, as far as the approach, that would be determined by MDOT.
yeah, I'm not sure MDOT will require anything. I mean, across from me, all they required was, I think it was the 3 big culverts though, and even though their drive was only a little bit, they had to put in the 3 culverts in there, which, you know.
Yeah, that's the same thing that Brown's Landscape gonna do too.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yes, that is across from you.
And of course, you know, they had Trello's, all Trello's equipment to make it, you know, more affordable to them, but.
I'd like to move along here so we can go home here tonight. Any more citizen comments on other township things? Okay, fine. That's fine. Anything from any board members that they need to talk about or wish to talk about? Nothing on that. We don't have anybody from the township here, nobody from the ZBA, and the zoning administrator left. So we have no new business. And basically, the old business is on hold till township figures out what to do with it, so if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to go home.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.